Welcome back to the Lachey Johnson's podcast. If this is your first time watching or listening, I want to welcome you. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back. I have a question. I just got off a call with a group of ladies that I hang out with once a month, and we sit and we go through some of our goals. Now, the last time I shared with you all, I was telling you that I'm on a 90-day journey and I'm working on 3 areas. One is my relationships, the other is my finance, and the other is my health. And so my question is, as I check back in with you, what season of life are you in? Let's talk about it. As I consider the season of life that I'm in, I am taking inventory of my relationships, my finance, and my health. And when I think about my relationships, I think about being a mom of 2 children. Now, let me be clear that they are not babies. My daughter is in her early 30s and she is a nurse and she is off living her best life. And I'm grateful for that. But it doesn't mean that I stop being mom to her. Recently, she reached out to me and she was like, "Mom, where were you born?" I'm filling out my passport information. And instead of me focusing on the fact that she did not know where I was born at, I got excited to know that she's looking to travel. And that tells me that she's finding more balance in her life, because normally my daughter is working and she's working and she's working and she's pursuing. But to know that she's finding time for rest, that made mama really, really happy. Now, the young lad who I probably talk about way more than I talk about my daughter, and I'll tell you why. It's because he is still in the house, meaning he's a senior this year. He is 18 years old and he's working a job and he's got a real life. I call it a real life because he goes to school, he has a job, he has friends, and he has other interests than sitting up underneath his mama. And so I am preparing. Okay, I know. No secret. Most of you who know me, who have been engaging with me in conversations and maybe have seen me on social somewhere else, you already know I'm always talking about my transition and preparing my heart for this young man to leave the nest. I chuckle inside because I think about what is the difference between being an empty nester and the fact that he's getting ready to graduate and go off to college. A friend of mine said to me that they are empty nesters. You are an empty nester when you are no longer financially caring for them. So apparently, I'm not going to be an empty nester in 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027. We'll just see once he gets stable, sort of kind of like what his sister's doing. She's making her own coins, and I'm glad about it. It doesn't mean that I'm not available, right? It doesn't mean that I'm not available if she needs some kind of financial support, but she's independent, and I am glad about that. She knows the value of stewarding her resources and understanding the importance of paying her bills on time, because if she doesn't, well, we know what happens when we don't pay our bills on time. So I'm not even going to go there. I will say that the young man, I'm very proud of him because he will get a paycheck and he gets paid every other week, and he makes sure that he does his contribution for his car payment and his car insurance. And, when he wants to DoorDash, he uses his own coins. If I cook and he decides he wants to eat something different, he pays out of his own pocket. And so I love that. So I am preparing. I'm preparing for this young man to launch. I am counting down. Graduation is just a few months away. He's already been accepted to 3 of the 5 colleges that he applied to, one of which is his top choice. And so we just got to make sure that the math is mathing. Now, this is where I think about me personally, my relationships personally. I am making the time to carve out on my calendar to have coffee with a girlfriend. I'm carving out the time to read books with friends that love to read. I'm carving out the time to put on my calendar, not today, but before 2024 is over, to travel and go and enjoy myself for my birthday. I've already put in the time off. And so I'm intentionally leaning in to my relationships with my friends. And I have on my calendar that I'm having dinner once a month with my family. Now, it doesn't mean that everybody can make it, but I'm committed to hosting dinner once a month at my house. Okay. I sense some of you are wondering, do I know how to cook? I pretend. I play a little bit. I go on Yumly and I look for different recipes. As a matter of fact, last week I made a stuffed chicken with spinach and cheese. It was pretty tasty. I will tell you that those chicken breasts, they dry out pretty quickly, so you got to be careful. But nevertheless, I'm in the kitchen. I'm cooking. I'm giving it a go. But more importantly, I'm making memories with my family because I'm making room and I'm intentionally focusing on my relationships. Now, what I'm not going to do right now is talk about my romantic relationships. The most that I will tell you is that I am single, and I'm okay with that. I said this before. No need to be concerned that I'm single. I know that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be for the season that I'm supposed to be in it, and I don't want to miss what the season brings. So I'm enjoying my singleness. I'm enjoying opening the refrigerator and finding that the things that I left in there are still there. Unless my son comes behind me and drinks the last of the orange juice, which that very rarely happens, but I'm enjoying my singleness. But along the way, I'm caring for myself and I'm keeping my head high and I'm not walking around like a damsel in distress. Maybe not always, but sometimes I do know that it's okay to kind of give off the aura like, hello, do you see a ring on my finger? And yeah, no one's trying to hook me up yet. And I'm glad about that too. Okay, so I mentioned that I'm working on my relationships personally. I'm working on my relationships romantically. I'm working on my relationships with my family, my children, all the different levels. I'm checking in with you because I'm wondering, what season of life are you in? How are you focusing on your relationships? How are you making memories? Okay, the health thing. It's real. I've got a cup of coffee in front of me, even as I stop and I take a sip. Don't judge me. I'm drinking out of one of my Stanley tumblers. And I hear that people are saying people are crazy to buy these expensive tumblers, but I drank the Kool-Aid and I got one. I've got two of them actually, and I've got a water jug and I use them every day. I digress. So about my health, I am intentionally making sure that when I look at my plate, there's a little color on the plate, making sure I have vegetables on the plate, making sure that my portion size are great. But let me tell you, I am a snacker. Don't judge me. Do not judge me. I am a snacker. So I love to snack, but I've got to do it in moderations and I got to make sure there are certain things that are not in the house all the time because it's not going to help me reach my health goals. Now, what I am doing that I feel very good about, which I did this morning, even as I was hanging out with my ladies, we use Voxer, by the way. I went for my walk and I walked 2 miles this morning. It felt amazing. I'm actually watching this YouTube channel called Strolling the City, where I don't know if it's a man or a woman, so I don't want to say what it is, but it's somebody behind the camera who's walking throughout the city of New York, Soho, Tribeca, Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan. It is amazing. And as I'm walking, it feels like I'm on the tour with them. So walking in the morning has become a joy and a pleasure. This morning, when I was hanging out with the ladies, we had a guest, and the guest was Kat Lee, Hello Mornings, and she was amazing. I asked her this question about being able to distinguish between when I'm setting a goal and how do I know that that is a goal that I need to be focusing on now, or how is that a goal that I need to maybe say not yet. And let me tell you, she was dropping nugget after nugget after nugget, but she gave this alliteration. Yes, I give credit where credit is due. She gave this alliteration about how to prioritize when you are setting those goals, or how to prioritize where you should be focusing your attention. And the one thing she said that was so good was that when you give your morning to Jesus, you're inviting him into the space to say, I want you to lean here. I want you to work on this. And she gave an example of how she prioritizes, and she uses, is it now? Is it next? Is it something you nurture, or is it time to take a nap? Yes, every time I'm around people, the preacher comes out of them, the alliteration. Is it now? Is it next? Is it something that you want to nurture? Or do you just need to take a nap? I immediately thought about the priority matrix. Is it urgent? Is it important? Is it not now? Is it something that you can delegate? Either way, what I walked away from is that I want to be where he wants me, Christ, where he wants me at. And I don't want to feel like I need to be responding to anything that someone is inviting me to for fear of thinking that, oh God, I won't be seen as their hero. I am no one's hero. And oh God, am I their savior? I am no one's savior. But if I'm always finding myself people pleasing as I'm setting my goals, okay, let's take a moment. I talked about my personal. I talked about my relationships. Am I having Sunday dinner because I want to say I'm having Sunday dinner? Or am I having Sunday dinner because I want to be the one that's making the memories with my family? I just said that my son is getting ready to leave for college. And while I might not be an empty nester, he's not going to be here every single day. So that's my why and my rationale to having Sunday dinner. Not because I want to check a box and say that I'm having Sunday dinner and I become the hero of making sure someone has somewhere to eat every last Sunday of the month. Nope, that's not me. So when it comes to my health, me walking and moving my body, it's because I'm a lady of a certain age and I need to make sure this body is still moving. You don't want me to be like the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz, do you? So if the outcome is that I lose weight, yay. If the outcome that I can fit a size that maybe I fit several years ago, yay. But if the win is that I feel confident, that I feel clear, that I feel energized, that I know that I am taking care of this one temple that God has given me, that I say yay to my 30, 32, 34-minute walk that leads to sometimes 1 3/4 miles or 2 miles. And let me just stop for one moment. I am not on an incline. At least not yet. I was watching a girl the other day and she was talking about how she lost 9 pounds and how she walked every day for about 45 minutes. And she was walking at the speed and rate of 2.5, 2.6 miles per hour. And on an incline of a 12, I'm not even going to tell you where I would probably be at. I haven't even tried to give it a try, but I do know her reasoning for saying the rate that she was walking and saying that she was doing it on an incline because she was intentionally trying to burn more calories and the result of her losing weight, which she lost 9 pounds in 1 month. Yay for her. It doesn't mean that I'm going to go tomorrow and do my incline at 12. You will probably find me on the floor and I will have a Medi alert that says I've fallen and I can't get up. Okay, I'm coming back. This is just me checking in my 90 day. So we talked about my relationships. We talked about my health. And now we have to come to the moment that I've been waiting for. This feels like a confessional for me. My finances. Yes, I believe in giving the tithe. I believe in giving the offering, but I also believe in doing a little bit of shopping. Now, here's the thing. Since the last time I checked in, I did purchase a pair of sneakers. I did. I didn't need them. I did not need them. I liked them. I saw them. I wanted them. And I was like, in the cart, check out. We're done. It's happening. And then you all know that Clinique has me in a chokehold. And so Macy's had a sale and they had some samples of the Clinique's perfume. And could I have resisted? I could have. I love Clinique and I've been wanting to try. And it was in the cart before I knew it and I was checking out. So y'all pray for me. I'm still working on my finances. I'm still working on being a good steward. But what I will tell you is that I am not robbing God. I am tithing and I am giving my offering. And I do believe that I'm generous. But here we go. Am I doing it because it feels like, oh, that's what it says in the Bible you should do? Yeah, that could be part of it. But me giving to others gives me so much joy. And so if it means that me being a good steward over my resources means that I can give more to different causes, that I can be an answer to prayer, then let that be the win of why I want to be a good steward over my resources and why I want to spend less and why I don't need another pair of sneakers and why I don't need to buy the perfume. I just wanted to. So I'm a work in progress, and I'm going to keep checking in with you. And I'm going to ask you, what season of life are you in? How are you doing in the areas that you said you would commit yourself to leaning into? And then I'm going to think about some other questions, because one of the things that I asked Kat was, when do you know you're working on a goal because you're trying to escape grief and or the pain of loss? Let's just take a moment of silence, because I am also a grief recovery certified specialist, and I know that they call things STIRBs, short-term energy releasing behaviors. When you are dealing with grief and loss, and that can be anything that has changed abruptly in your life, not just the physical loss of a person, but it could be a move, it could be a job situation, and you are grieving. There are times where I know in the past where I was going through a transition and I went back to school. I went from my associate's degree to my bachelor's degree in 18 months. That's a whole different story. I went from my bachelor's degree to my first master's degree in 2 years. And then I pursued another master's degree. And when I look back to when I pursued some of those degrees, I was running from not dealing with some of the pain that I was dealing with in my life, and having school and study replace that. It took the space up where I didn't have to spend time to really process the grief and the pain that I was going through with the various losses that I had. Okay, I'm just sharing with you. We're checking in. I'm asking the question, what season of life are you in? How are you leaning in to the things that you said you would do in 2024? I'm coming here to be accountable to you, and I'm sharing my journey. And okay, here we go. My goodness. If you have not already heard the podcast interview with Sherry Richardson, I want to invite you to go back and do that. Mark your calendars. I'm getting ready to host a book club, Dr. Anita Phillips, The Garden Within. I'm going to start that in March. It's going to be amazing. Just stay tuned. And like I said, if this is your first time here, I'm so glad that you found me. If you found this information injected of hope, encouragement, then I want you to consider liking this video, sharing this video, and subscribing to my YouTube channel. Now, if you've been watching any of my YouTube shorts, if you've been following me on Instagram, why haven't you already subscribed? Why haven't you already shared this community with someone else? All right, until we meet again.